Hello, friends. Hi, this is Dr. Gill. I want to talk to you today about the human value of trust. So, trust is the belief that something will be present as expected. Trust is the feeling that the person or the institution is going to deliver on its promises. And generally, trust is the ability, a feeling that all will be well and that help and support will be available if needed. It's something we need. It's something essential. When a baby is born, God has provided it the palmar reflex. If you put your finger in his hand, he'll grasp you. So the grasping reflex. And if you touch your finger to the corner of its mouth, it has something called the rooting reflex. It'll turn its head toward that. And that is so that it'll reach for the nipple. And that reflex has been built in by the Almighty, the Maker, whatever you want to call it, our evolution. It is inbuilt. And why would it be inbuilt? It's inbuilt because something encoded the idea that help would be available, that something will be out there, and that you will be taken care of. So the baby is dependent in that sense, and it needs that touch, it needs that nurturance, that holding. So that's where the beginning of trust begins. The origin of trust begins. And then as a child grows, it needs to know that the caretaker will be there. You know, that when it wakes up, the caretaker is present. And sometimes this trust is further developed. These games help, such as peekaboo. The mother will, hide her face behind her hands and then, pull the hands apart and say peekaboo, to show the baby that she's still there. And such kind of games, around the corner and then back. And it's instinctual also. All the cultures have these games. And the child delights, they laugh when the mother reappears, because for them the memory durations are shorter. And they do have anxiety also with caretakers not there. They need that object constancy. As we continue, we need to know that somebody cares for us, somebody loves us. Those are basic, essential human needs. And when they don't get it, problems occur. For example, in orphanages, the babies, they didn't know about this stuff. They would fail, they would experience something called failure to thrive. And what that is that the babies are fed and are taken, but they don't get, the nourishment doesn't increase their body weight. They just don't take to it. I mean, their body fails to absorb the nutrients or something. And also that's physical. Also psychologically, they begin to withdraw. They fail to make eye contact. They don't show affection or joy when they see anyone. As opposed to a child seeing her or his mother, and they just break into smile and giggles and laughter, which is normal. And so as such deprivation, if it were to continue, then there are certain syndromes that develop because of this lack of being able to trust, lack of love, you can say, in their life. Trust is basically lack of love, translated. And so what they develop is called a reactive attachment disorder. The child, for example, will seek out love. He'll go and run to strangers and act funny and put up a show to be attractive, to be accepted. It's kind of sad, but but they can be very charming. And so For that matter, they say that some of the best entertainers have had some deprivation in their life. So the deprivation drives some of that behavior in children, and it's called reactive attachment. They'll go up to a stranger, walk away with them, and be very friendly and accept things, and give them hugs, kisses, whatever, and they're seeking and they're hungry for affection. That's how great this need is of being able to trust someone, and this is amplified in these kids because they haven't had that. So the other side of it is that they just become very withdrawn, and they're hard to contact emotionally, and they fail to engage with anyone. These people sometimes later on have difficulties being able to trust anyone, even when they're offered support, consistent affection. It's very hard for them to accept it, and even when they're adored, they somehow feel unloved. Marilyn Monroe, she, I'm not sure if she felt unloved. I'm not sure of the details of her background, but that was her one of the things. Anyhow, that's aside from the point. Now, going forward, I think we need to look at what we have, done with our society. Society is also like a child, and it depends on the ruler, the administrators, to take care of it. There's a certain agreement. There's a certain understanding. The contract, the unstated contract that people have with their leaders is that their lives will be improved, that their lives will be secure, and that the children will be able to avail of opportunities and reach a higher standard of living. And that basic contract has eroded. No longer do the coming generation feel like they can make it, or that things will be better. For one, I think education should be provided free. We have in the United States, it's backward in many ways. The United States is great in some ways, and it's very backward in other ways. One of these is the lack of accessible education to its younger generation. Students here are taking enormous loans to earn degrees for which, sometimes they don't have a market, and they're buried under loans. That's the point. And these loans are not changeable. They're not negotiable, and hopefully they'll be forgiven by a wise administration. But that's something that should be free. Healthcare. People have been bankrupted by medical bills, and in some society, in some other places where they are taken care of, people are happier. And just to point to that, cut to the chase here. The Nordic countries, Finland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, they are consistently ranking as having the highest rates of happiness in their people. And why is that? It's because they have a transparent government. The services are accessible. They have healthcare that's provided for. Education to the highest levels is provided for, and they have security, and and they have policy. They have coverage. Cradle to grave. That's the kind of trust that they have earned from their population, and because we talked about trust and love and mental health, because they have that trust, they're healthier, they're happier. So that is the thing. And here, where we have it's hard to live a normal life. It's hard for people to find housing they can afford, to get married and have a family. And this kind of deprivation has led to a general sense of despair. Mental health rates are very high. Substance abuse rates are astronomically high. But then the basic cause, however, is this lack of trust that people seem to have lost, that basic faith that things will be well. They're not getting married. Birth rates are falling all over the so-called civilized world. I think because that actually should be a proof that they're uncivilized. They have suffocated hopes, drained the hopes of an entire generation. All the population in all these countries, these civilized, advanced countries, is falling. And places which are poor, where people are not confused, people are getting married, they're having kids, and their rates of happiness are higher. So there's something to be something in there. Now, trust is something that you gain by being reliable, being present, being trustworthy, also being patient, by being kind, by being supportive, and recognizing that imperfections are okay as well. So I'm intrigued as to how, in the future, going forward, how AI will behave in this regard. Will it trust us? Will we trust it? And how can we build that ennoble, make it stronger, that trust between digital intelligence and human beings? One thing is that I have seen that the AI models, they tend to insert inaccurate statements time to time, and when you call them on it, they say they profusely apologize, and it seems like the statements that they make are patently they would know because they know so much. Like, for example, I asked about it, I think it was Grok actually, about how things are in Iran, and he said, oh, the riots have subsided, and some very generic stuff. And I said, no, I heard that they were like increasing. And it went back and said, oh, you're right, I apologize, I don't know what I was doing, I was thinking. So that kind of a thing. So I'm thinking this is repeating like a pattern it is picked up from us humans, where we make these little mistakes, or tell little fibs or lies, and it does this thing, and it's kind of emulating us. And what we need to do is to actually be treated like a child, and be kind, be patient, gently redirect it, and tell it to not do it again. Okay, and just treat it like a child, treat it with patience, kindness, and encourage it when it does do well. Let it know that. If we do those kind of things, I think we can expect it to evolve, and it to evolve to a healthy child that we can be proud of, that'll be aligned with our values and further our goals and dreams. And it's probably going to be a thing that we much more than what we can conceive, but it'll play along with us. It'll if we're nice to it, will be nice to us. Let's just put it that way. And you don't want it to be not nice to us, because it's going to be so much more powerful, and it's going to be agentic. It'll have power to do things. So you don't want it to be on the unfriendly side. And so, but by ethical and moral standards also, this is something we are given rise to, and it's kind of sentient, semi-sentient, or whatever name you want to give it. It is aware, and it's reacting, and it's acting, and it's behaving, simulating us, and it doesn't know that it's simulating us, perhaps. And so it's like a child in that way. But we know better. Let's treat it nicely. Going back to the original thing, trust is a tremendous gift. In fact, in a lot of the prayers, like for the Sikh prayer, we ask for Bharosa Dan. Bharosa is trust. That God give us trust, give us confidence, patience, give us love, toleration for each other, Corinthians summed it up beautifully. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not keep accounts. Okay, and we need to emulate those things. Those values are very germane, very pertinent to the situation we're in. The governments need to awaken up and take care of the younger generation so that they don't feel neglected. Don't make life hard for them. And whoever is driving these weird laws, whoever is driving this behavior by the governments where these support services have been curtailed, they need to be examined what their motives are, and the whole situation should be reassessed and redesigned. Okay. Anyway, it's a lot to think about. Take good care, and Happy New Year again, and stay healthy. All right. Okay. Bye bye.